out there. All right, once again, thank you all. I'm one of the mentors on this platform, and I've been privileged to serve multiple Fortune 500 in different capacity, build different solutions also in the past. But today it's all about you. So who needs to understand products? Most of us, if you have an idea and you're thinking of a pet project, you want to build a solution, you have a client that wants to build a solution, then you're thinking of what are the key things I need to do to build those solutions. Very important. In general, product management, we're thinking about identifying a product, right? Also, is there a market for this product? Now, for you and I, at times, if you are building, if you are a Scrum Master, a part of a Scrum team, a business analyst, many times you are not privy to this because you just want to execute, right? But before leadership and management decide to build anything, at times I acknowledge there are some people that are doing projects for pet projects, right? Believe it or not, this is one of the biggest challenges I've seen. Organizations that are doing well, they have money, their products are doing well, but there's a VP of marketing that has a pet project, something he or she just likes. And because they like it in their mind, they will ask you to build it. Now, for me, I would always ask and say, do you mind give me the business case, the qualitative or quantitative value so I can document it, right? Sometimes they don't have any value. You just say, well, I just want it. Now, use your judgment. At times, you would have to just listen and just build, right? Because, hey, they are paying you, you have to do your work, but not to the detriment of other top priority issues. So I always tell you, hey, Jack, Tom, Jide, I'll be happy to build this. If you don't mind, can we do this after this top priority item, right? I'm not going to argue about it if it's a pet project, but you and I will know it's a pet project because it's not increasing revenue. It's not giving us increase in client satisfaction. It's not giving us goodwill. I just know it's just a pet project you want or you like, okay? So think from a business point of view. Think about yourself that I am building a solution for something. There must be a business case for it because it's not a pet hobby. It's not like I have unlimited resources. So there should be a reason for building certain solutions. What are some of the factors influencing general product building? Number one, is there a market demand for it? Is there a need for it, right? What is the thought about my competitors? What kind of quality of product am I thinking about? Then what is the cost in the long term, right? Because it's not enough to say I want to build something. We have to think about all the dynamics really at the end of the day, long term. Some general agile flavor, most of us on this call would have heard of Scrum, Kanban, extreme programming. Let's focus on Scrum in our case. And I'll just talk a little bit about a few things about the Scrum in general. So some years back, a few folks came together and they came up with something called Agile Manifesto. Let's keep it simple and just not stress your life. In the old world, many times we focus a lot of energy on tools, on processes, on documentation. Agile said, listen, guys, it's a waste of our time. At the end of the day, customer wants to build a solution. Let's focus on customer. Throw away all this process and tools. We use some tools, but we say, look, let's focus on interaction more than wasting our energy on process and tools. Then we say, let's focus on working softwares. Look, in the past, I don't know about you guys, my whole world, I used to implement an ERP called SAP, right? And in SAP world, we'll do a lot of functional requirement documentation, process documentation. It's unreal. It's tons of data. But the truth is that those data, I don't think anybody reads them after we have done the documentation. If the implementation is live, it becomes useless, really, in the long term. So the other thing is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Now, in the old world, listen, many times people will say, well, if I ask you to make a change in a solution, you tell me, well, yes, we'll make a change, but you have to pay more. We are saying up front, look, change is part of Agile. We are going to make changes. It's part of our contract. Don't get me into scope creep. Don't start telling me nonsense. Oh, well, it's not part of the contract. No. It's part of the agreement. It's Agile we're using. So there will be constant changes. It means, for example, let me give you a good practical example. So recently, all of us, how many of us have heard of AI, artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT and all this good stuff? If you have, give me thumbs up real quick. If you've not heard about it, please, you need to just make sure you align with our program. Because if you are not using such tools to support your work or your life, you are running under a deficit. You can't function, to be honest. You function, but you'll be so outdated so quick. They will eat your lunch so badly. So be very mindful. Now, the reason I'm saying all that is because right now we have to figure out ways to make our life efficient too, right? So another thing is, think about this: responding to change over following a plan. You know, ChatGPT's example is, now if you are building a solution and you don't integrate or think about incorporating artificial intelligence into your process, your competition is going to mess you up, guaranteed. Because what would happen is, think about what happened to Google and Microsoft a few weeks ago. Microsoft bought ChatGPT 51% stake or so for like $10 billion or something like that. Then Google quickly responded with their banned AI model, and it was a disaster when they were trying to present. One of the prompts that came out was just not right. So it was a disaster for them, right? Now, it was good for Microsoft, but bad for Google, right, in the long term. But that was a big one that I thought, hey, we need to ensure at all times we're constantly thinking of how do you effectively adjust to change, because you have to, there's no option really to be successful. Some general principles, again, I'll just run through a few of these to kind of give you an idea so that you can speak the agile language. That's why I'm doing this really. The key is satisfy the customer, welcome change, constantly deliver value, collaborate daily. We use what's called daily stand-up, motivate and trust. Face-to-face is always a priority for us. Working code is equivalent to progress. We want to make sure we have working code. We have sustainable pace. It's not going to be big bang, but smaller, incremental, sustainable pace. Simplicity is essential for us. We have self-organizing team where people just organize themselves and work effectively. We constantly inspect the solution and adapt. So if I'm building a solution, instead of saying I want to build WhatsApp and have everything and in WhatsApp, I said, hey, let's start with the chatting. All right, we can chat. Chatting is good. Bingo. Let's move to audio. Okay, audio is good. Bingo. So that's the same thing. You know, at the end of the day, we are building smaller incremental value to our business. Requirement gathering is straight to the point. What we do here is simple. What is the requirement for what we are building? As simple as that. Today, you'll see a sample vision document, and I would give some quick assignments with that too, real quick, okay? And ultimately, the product owner would be the one to approve the product, all right? If a product is built, the product owner would have to approve the product. All right, product vision, let's talk about it. In simple term, vision is just saying a clear, simple statement of what the customer wants. Can we all type it real quick together? If you don't mind, let's just do a quick typing. Let's just say, I just want you to tell me what the customer wants. If I say what's the vision, just tell me what the customer needs. Can we do that real quick? Let me just quickly allow us to chat real quick. So if I ask you what is the vision document, it's a vision, it's a document that shows what the customer really wants. Can we do that real quick? What the customer wants. Thank you all. Thank you. Just type it on the chat real quick. What the customer really wants. And that's really what the vision is, really. And let me tell you why it's important. I don't know, for those of us on the call that have ever been part of this, we as product owners, we are like, depends on the environment. Most environment, you're like a mini godlike voice, because whatever you say, people look up to you to give them direction. It's a big deal. It's one of the big part of it. We want direction from you. What do we do? Do you agree with this? Because your voice carries a lot of weight at the end of the day. Okay, so just take note of that. All right, let's move on. Thank you for putting that. All right, let's move on real quick. Okay, some key actors in the world of Scrum. You have the Scrum team, the product owner, the Scrum master, right? So the product owner is going to be we, really, at the end of the day. We want to make sure we build the right things at the right time, build vision document, guide the project right, ensure the vision is met. You keep prioritizing. Can we type this real quick again? Prioritizing. Can we say prioritize? Prioritize. Prioritize. Can we do that real quick? Yes. Because those are the core area of what we'll be doing. You have to keep prioritizing. And people will rely, your Scrum team will rely on you to do that. They will tell you for the user stories, for what we have, can you prioritize? Please prioritize. Because they will just rely on your prioritization to do what they want to do fully. Okay? All right, let's go. What about Scrum Master? Scrum Master, somebody said earlier on, really you facilitate what the team is doing. So you're going to be the facilitator really at the end of the day. And you have to have good people skill, mostly to be a Scrum Master, really, because you have different personalities working within your group, and you have to find a way to constantly facilitate and be effective with this team at any point in time. Some key function of the Scrum team, you would hear things like developer, lead developer, quality assurance, user experience, front-end developer, business analyst. This will be part of the Scrum team mostly. Now, with the new trend, you might see also prompt engineers. Whatever it is, they will just be technically sound people that will be supporting your project at any point in time, okay? And these are just talking about the key relationship. You have stakeholders, you have to deal with development team, product managers, then management. So you're cut across all this wall to bring them together. So you're working with your team, then you're dealing with the leadership and management because they are the ones giving you direction on what they want, right? And you have to get it done. You're the brain of the leadership to get it executed in a timely manner. Okay, team attitude. The thing about Agile is that you have to help your team to win. If you don't, you might think you're getting away with it, but we all lose. We drown together. So this is a good diagram I like because we're all in it together. I can't smile and be happy somebody is drowning because I will drown too shortly. I may be enjoying it for a second, but if they don't survive, I would also crash. So very important support. Anytime you hear the word legacy, let me just make us learn one or two things. You might hear the word legacy today, tomorrow. It's simply saying old. Can we all say legacy equals to old? Legacy equals to old. So you might hear the word legacy, just say it's old. So legacy is old. Anytime you hear me say the word legacy, is just saying an old system. It's an old system. In the past, we used to use something called waterfall. People still use it to an extent, right? But the difference is that mostly waterfall, you're getting requirement, meaning I'm getting information on what you need. I'm building a design on what it should look like, and I'm actually implementing it, meaning I'm going ahead to do as the designer stated. Then I'm testing to make sure everything is fine. Then we are doing maintenance. It's just a whole lot of tons of stuff compared to Agile, okay? So you might hear the word waterfall. Anytime you hear the word waterfall, don't stress it. It's just saying an old system. It's an old way of doing business. Some people still use it. They call it Agile. Some waterfall, some Agile combined together. But whatever your organization is using, be adaptive to adjust. But that's just, I just want to make sure I don't leave this out in case you find yourself in that world. All right, let's talk about pre-grooming meeting. Anytime you hear the word grooming, I'm just saying there will be a time, whatever the product owner has put together, we have to have a time as a team. It's like barbing your hair, you're grooming. We are fine-tuning the story. If you tell me you want to build a solution, remember we're talking about healthcare in a bit, you want to make a solution to remind people of an appointment, then we have to have a process in place to make sure we are fine-tuning it for people to understand it at all times. So regularly do that all the time. I don't want to get into that. Another thing you might hear is iteration zero. Again, don't get caught up in the name they call it, all right? But the bottom line is it's a time we bring all the key stakeholders together. Everybody will come together. I, as the product owner, will come in and talk about my vision on what we want to build. Then we start building something called user stories, which all of us will get into in a few seconds, okay? Then also in that meeting, we'll talk about dependencies, risk. Let me give you a real life example. Some years back, for an industry I was working on, everything we did was we identified our dependencies. We did everything we thought was right. Now, here's the catch. In the midst of everything, we forgot one thing. When we move our code that is built to production, which is where it will be live, we forgot, because we are using a third party, there needed to be a firewall exception request. What that means is, remember, every organization in the world would have a firewall that blocks malicious actors coming into their system, right? But we did not identify that. I did not see it. None of my team saw it. None of the business saw it. None of the technical folks on this call saw it. All of us did not see that part. We're just ready to move to production. We are done with everything. For those of us on this call, if you hear the word production, it simply means live. If you go to bankofamerica.com today, it's just that's actual live system. It's production. It's the main deal, right? So if you want to move anything to that system that is the main deal, practice in IT is that we have a testing environment where we test things before we move it to the live environment, which is just a good practice for anyone, really. So, but in this case, we were about to move it to production only to realize we could not, because there was a need to get an exception for the firewall that was blocking all the information. Now, let's put it in perspective. This is after spending almost 7 to 8 hours from like 10 p.m. to like 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. And we realized we could not make progress. By 8, 9, the next day, we all had to come back. Now, it doesn't happen all the time that way, but because we were moving an important information to production, we had to stay up late to make it right? But we found out that it was because a firewall was blocking everything we're doing. So we get an exception for the firewall and everything worked fine after that. So just give you some real life issue there. All right, so ready for iteration. So remember again, main thing, we product owners, we want to make sure we have the vision document, our user stories, our epic, and all of this we'll talk about in a second, okay? Look out for that in the next few seconds. Let me see. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, yep, well, we're almost on that specific. All right, let me just go to, yeah, let's go back here real quick. All right, I'm good. Another thing I would like to get you ready to talk about is somebody's going to ask you in an interview, for example, they would ask you for sprints. A sprint is just a time we block for our Scrum team to continuously work on building solutions for us. And a common interview is, how long is your sprint? I want us to use the word mostly within 2 weeks to 4 weeks. 2 weeks is mostly the ones you will see a lot, but sometimes some organization, depending on the size of the organization, they would say, 2 weeks. If you don't mind, let me ask everybody, if you can hear me well, give me thumbs up. Somebody said they can't hear, so I can tell them to go fix the audio. If you can hear me well, give me thumbs up, please. All right, so I think most people can hear me well. So, sorry, whoever that is, Dali, go and fix your audio. Or you can use your phone to log in this time around, okay? Sorry about that, but fix your system. All right, so one thing I'll tell you is this, for most of us, the iteration of sprint planning is a time we make sure our team is building solutions that are required for the business. So mostly it's 2 weeks. So let's do a quick interview. If somebody asks you, how long is your iterations or your sprint planning? What do you say? Let me see you guys type it real quick. I want you to just say, well, 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, yeah. That's the standard. 2 weeks is really most of the ones, you can get away with 2 weeks. Sometimes 4 weeks, depends on the project and depends on the size of the company and what they do. Now, one thing I want to challenge you, sometimes we get a bit crazy about, wasting time on those nuances. Business don't care about that. They just want to resolve. They don't care really. It's we that have to figure out what works for our project and our team. But in the scheme of things, the business just wants resolved. That's all. Okay. So I'm not going to waste too much time. This is a good diagram that gives you a general feel of the key things we do in agile practices, really within the Scrum framework. Grooming, we're talking about, the user stories in grooming. We're talking about planning sessions. We're talking about iterations, daily stand-up, the demos, the retrospective meeting, which is a time we come back and say, what are we doing well? What are the challenges? And what can we do better? This is a very solid diagram I like to use a lot. because it breaks down everything for us in much more details. All right, production release is just saying at the end of the day, we are live and we are figuring out what is the date for us to release different items for our business, right? At the end of the day, you see some of the way we do it would have what we call release planning. And today you would simulate a similar one. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's get to another one that I thought we should just throw out there. Sometimes you might say the word burn down chart. Now, for those of you that want to take the Agile exam, this is a funny one just to know. It's typically a representation of work left to do versus time. So, for example, if I have, if I have certain tasks I need to do that are pending, this will give me an idea of, okay, guys, this is how long you've worked. This is what is left. It's just a very good way to kind of measure progress within your organization. Okay. All right. This is the one I want everybody on this call to make sure you get used to. This is awesome. Epic and user stories. All right. Epic is really a high level, in my opinion, user story. It gets into like a high level user story, so to speak. Then the user story gets into the detail, of what is really required. All right. So let's take it again. The big one now, let me tell you one thing. I've had an interview before that somebody asked me, give me an example of a user story you've worked on. And honestly, then I remember that was my first experience to get into Agile. I have no idea what it was. I just was trying to BS my way out of that conversation. And it didn't go well. It was a disaster, really. Because I was just saying, I knew what I was saying, but I didn't use the right Agile method of saying it. So everybody on this call, can we all type as a dash dash? I would like to dash dash so that dash dash. Let's do that real quick. This is going to be your life. If you get into Agile, you're going to write user stories. This is going to be the way we write it. And it's not a big deal. Can we do it real quick as a dash dash? I will like to dash that so that dash. Let's do that real quick if you don't mind, please. Let's do that. We love to write here, so if you don't mind, please be gracious to go ahead and do that. Please go ahead, go. Let's go. All right, good stuff. Okay, great. That's it. All right, now let me show you another thing I would like to add. For every user story, we also have to add something called acceptance criteria. Now, can we all type that together? Acceptance criteria. Can we all type that? Acceptance criteria. And don't overthink that. All that is saying is that before I accept what you've done, this is what needs to be completed. That's all. We've made our life easy. There's no complication here, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm saying is that, okay, we want to make it easy for us, right? We've had our user stories. Now we're thinking of what would it require to accept it? Because don't forget, you and I ultimately would have to accept it. You run the show because you represent the business, right? Whatever you accept becomes the gospel. So it's a big deal. So you have to tell me, okay, do you accept it or not? It's a big deal, really. So, of course, it has to be something that meets the customer satisfaction at the end of the day, right? And honestly, to me, why I love acceptance criteria is that it eliminates confusion. So my team is not going to say they don't know what I would accept. It's very, let me give a good example. My acceptance criteria might be, so if I ask you to create, it's a healthcare solution we're building, right? If I ask you to create a solution for healthcare that can alert customers if, once they remind them of their visitation. So my acceptance criteria might be verify that once a day before a customer visits, emails and texts are sent to them with a confirmation message. It's simple because I've made it clear what I would accept, So it is very straight to the point. I've made it very clear what I would accept before, you can, I can pass it because I have to sign off on it, right? So it's a big deal. And don't worry, I'll send this presentation to the WhatsApp group and I'll send the file for our presentation for the use case there in the next 5 minutes, okay? So just be patient. All right, This is just talking about the advantage of assessment criteria. I think I talked about it already. User stories. Now, this is a big one. Believe it or not, everything you see here, this is real life simulation, right? So I just simulated some real life that you guys can easily see as vital. For example, I said, as an online shopper, I want to be able to filter perfume prices in descending order so that I can get the lowest price, right? It's just like we go to Amazon, Shopify, and all these other ones. You can filter different prices, right? Now, if I am accepting this, I'm saying verify. When I click filter, it changes the values. If I click on the filter and the values don't change, let me ask you, would I accept it? Heck no, I'm not going to accept it. If I click on the filter, I go to Amazon, I'm trying to click on the filter and it doesn't change the prices, then I will not accept it. Okay, what about if I say, okay, in Amazon, you can say, or let's say Orbitz or any of this travel site, you can check the lowest ticket price. If I click on that filter and it does not change it, would I accept it as a product owner? Let me ask you guys. No, it's the same thing. I mean, so really you're testing like a regular, you're just testing to make sure it works. That's what you're doing. Now, even though there are QA tester already in that team, I don't care about their own testing because I have to tell the business it is working. So my name is on the line. Don't forget, let me make you pressure a little bit. Can you put my name is on the line? Can we type that? My name is on the line. Let's go. Just say my name is on the line. So if I'm a product owner, my name is on the line. That's the truth about it. Yes. So don't forget that it's not just because I'm not. There's no sentiment here. If you screw me up really big time, because my signature is going to be on the line. Yeah, yeah, I'll be on the line. It's a big deal for me. So I'm not going to screw it up. So one thing I'll quickly sneak in for everybody real quick before we jump to our lab in a bit is there are different approach to user stories. When you write a user story, we have to also size it. Sizing simply means we give it a score. All right. Can we type the word sizing real quick? Sizing. Say user story sizing. Can we type it real quick? User story sizing. Sizing is just saying, okay, what do we score it? And listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me keep it simple. Some people use t-shirt sizing, right? T-shirt means large, medium, low. That's easy, right? All of us use t-shirts or pants, medium, large, small, right? Or extra large, whatever you use is the way to size it. The same thing when we write user story. Let me give a good example. For example, if you tell me, all right, I want to be able to sign into my account through Gmail. Okay. To do that functionality, I think maybe it's medium. Now, somebody said, I want to be able to use Bitcoin to make payments on a website. All right. It gets a bit complicated because one, am I using a third-party provider? Am I using it myself? What is the security risk? So from that angle, I may say maybe the user story is large, right? So that's the way it is. But for us, I'm going to challenge you. We're going to use a different one called Fibonacci. Now, don't care about the name. It's a mathematical term. Don't care. Don't care about that part. All I need you to remember is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20. The larger, the more complex, the more time, right? But most of the time, I would tell you, make sure your user story don't go more than 8. If it goes more than 8 in your mental state, break it down. Let me repeat this, very important. So let me take it again. So I may say, well, okay, let's do a prep. If I want to create a form that has name and address, out of 1 to 20, what do you think I should size it? Let's play. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20. Let's see. 3, okay. 8, fair point. Okay. What about if I want to build a system that would go to the IRS to find information, then send me feedback, then automatically send it to another CPA? Somebody said 33. All right, we don't have 33. We only have 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, or 20. It's not a range. It's just 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. But I'll tell you from experience, mostly if it's more than 8, don't go more than 8. If it's more than 8, if my team tells me I scored this 13, I'll tell you, break it down. I'll tell them, break it. I don't want it to be 13. No way. No, it's too much. 30 minutes, you've taken more than you can chew. Because many times, let me tell you the tricky thing, if your team has so many user stories, it means their workload is too much. So I don't want your workload to be too much. I'm protecting that team. I'll say, look, listen, guys, the Scrum Master, I'll speak with them and say, look, does this team have the capacity to do this amount of work? Because if you tell me 13, it's a big number. I'm worried that, oh, that's a lot. Can you break it down? That's what I'm thinking in my head, right? And for those of us taking the main class, we'll get into the details of this. But for now, just understand, most people use Fibonacci most of the time. For those of us on this call that are Scrum Master, product owners, you can always feel free to jump in also. So, but I think most people will stick with best practice. Don't go more than 8 so that we can break it to smaller chunks that are manageable. Okay. All right. So, but this is just good information, and I'll send the slide. Now, this is important. I can ask you in an interview and say, how do you determine story points? Now, please, if you don't take anything away, for those of us that want to get knowledge, this is a good one. I will tell you this, for story points, it's a good idea to think and say, well, it's a combination of risk, the effort, and complexity. Can we type it together real quick? For you to determine the story point, I would say risk, complexity, and the effort. Those are the key things we combine together to determine a story point. Because it's not enough to tell me, well, I'm scoring, 13. I would ask you, it's a combination of many things in your mind. You say, what's the risk? What's the effort? What's the complexity? So a lot of things in your mind you're putting together. It might be low effort, but it might be high risk. So you're making decision based on all of those together combined in your mind, okay? All right, so prioritization is a big one for us, right? We all agree on that. I'll skip a few of this. I'll leave it to my folks that will take the main class, but I want to jump into the actual lab for now, if you don't mind. The lab would get into real life situation you can really identify with, because this one is going to be real things that we can talk about and you can make the most out of it. I want to make sure you get the best bulk of your time here. So the lab will give us that information. So let me take it again. If you are not part of our WhatsApp group, please do me a favor. I'm gonna try and do that again. Let me make sure we all have access to this real quick. Okay, let's go. If you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please make sure you join, because I'm going to share some documents right now. And if you are not part of it, you will not have access to it. Let me send the WhatsApp link again real quick to us. 1 second. Make sure you join that group, because I'll send 2 documents that are very important right now. And for folks that are taking the main class next week, don't worry, you have access to all this, so it's not a big deal. But let me quickly share this real quick. But this is very, very critical. Please make sure you're part of this group. Let me send that to you. And feel free to share this information with people that, okay, let me send that to you guys. Let's see. If you're on this call, I just sent the link to us. Okay, let's see. Please look at your chats. I just sent this link to us. Can somebody check if that link is working, please? I think it should. Let me see. Yep, it's working. All right, I just shared that link with us. Let's see. All right, do we have the link, everybody? If you do, give me a thumbs up real quick. All right, because I'm going to share with us real quick the workshop documents. All right, let's see. Okay, let's jump into the workshop document real quick. This is going to be the meat of it. This is the one that brings the job really. All right, let me quickly send this and the PowerPoint for those that want to read up the PowerPoint. Knock yourself up to read this up. Let me send that to you. Okay, please join the WhatsApp group. Like I said, I'm going to share a document now. If you're not in the group, you'll probably not have access to it. Please join the group right now. All right, so I'm going to share the document right now. Let me give everybody else another 30 seconds, then I'll share the document. Unfortunately, WhatsApp does not allow you to pull old documents, so you won't be able to see it until All right. 10 more seconds, and I'll share. 10 more seconds, Grace. All right, okay. All right, let me go ahead and share. The first thing I shared with you all is going to be the slide. The second thing I'm sharing is the workbook we're going to use now. All right. If you've seen it, give me a thumbs up. If you've seen the document on WhatsApp, please give me a thumbs up. If you've seen it on WhatsApp, give me a thumbs up real quick. I shared 2 documents. If you've seen it, give me a thumbs up. Okay, let's go. All right, let me show you guys real quick. Now it will make more sense. And also, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit so we can get into the details. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's go. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. Now, the reason I took some quick high-level time to talk about those past areas is to give you an idea of what most environment expect. Let's face it. This is what they care about. People want solutions at the end of the day. I don't care about anything else besides, give me solutions. In this case, we need to build a solution to improve patient outcome and reduce cost. All right? Let's talk about what's involved in it. I gave a background about it. Healthcare is ever evolving, right? At the end of the day, we want to build a solution that is, number one, user-friendly, efficient, right? This is the key for me. Then I went further to say these features will include user management. This is very important. I want us to take note of this. These are important elements to what I want us to build. It will include user management, patient management, communication, and integration, right? So this is fair enough, right? We want to make sure the user can manage their health record, patient management, they can communicate, and there's a good integration function within the solution itself. I also put together a vision documentation. The vision document gets into the details of it and said, okay, what is our vision? Our vision is to build a healthcare solution that can be easily accessible and create some efficiency at the end of the day. For every vision document, please, I want us to type this. 2 key things I want you to make sure it's there: quantitative value and qualitative value. Can we all type that real quick? Quantitative value and qualitative value. Quantitative value and qualitative value. So quantitative, it's something we can measure, right? Numbers most of the time, right? Qualitative can be subjective many times, So I need those 2 to be in your vision document at the minimum. Very important, we must have those 2. If we don't have those 2, then really we are really running at a deficit. So quantitative means, okay, in this case, we said our healthcare solution will deliver value to healthcare providers and patients by improving patient outcome and reducing healthcare costs. Look at what it said. Yeah, we anticipate a reduction of 20% in healthcare costs. So you've put a number and data. This is big deal, ladies and gentlemen, really, because you see why most people will not get a job if you don't know this stuff. You can't just come and tell me bullshit, really. I will know. I want to make sure you tell me, well, I build a vision document that gets into the quantitative and qualitative value. In the case of my project, The project reduced 20% cost of healthcare in terms of building the solution before and after. So you're giving me value to make sense, right? Qualitative is subjective, right? Look at what they're saying here. It's user-friendly, it's creating efficiency, it's, gives good, seamless value to the patient. So sometimes qualitative might just be goodwill too, right? So, better user experience. So those are the things that you're constantly thinking about in real time. Now, let's go to the meat of it, ladies and gentlemen. The features, user management, patient management, communication. So we've spelled it out straight up, and integration. These are the key things we want to make sure are included in the process itself. Now, here's the catch. For the features, we've said user management. Epic, we built an Epic to say, as a user, I want to be able to register for the healthcare solution so that I can access the platform. Straight to the point. Now, it's not enough to tell me that I want to have acceptance criteria that will make me comfortable to equally accept it. And that's all I did here, right? The second thing, I went to user story. Now we're getting into the weeds of it. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying is, as a user, I want to be able to register on your platform. That's all. There's nobody on this call that before you download anything, you would have to register, right? That's all I'm saying. So don't overthink it. All I'm asking is that, hey, before you get into my system, you must register. That's all I'm saying, really. That's all. But sometimes for Agile, we want to break it down into detail so that there's no confusion. All I've said here is just user ID and password, nothing else. All this big grammar. But in the world of Agile, we need to be able to spell it out. So that, because let me tell you what I've seen, my technical guys are very good at what they do. But honestly, you need to spell things out for them. If you don't spell it out for your technical team, you're going to be likely in trouble in the long term because things will get muddy and it will just be more problems for you. So spend that 5-10 minutes to take the time to make it simple for them so that nobody would tell me, well, I didn't know what it means. No, I've spelled it out in simple terms. User ID and password when I'm registering into the system. Put your name, date of birth, email address, put password, get email confirmation. That's it. If you can do these three, I will accept it. That's all I've just said to my developer. Put these three and I will accept it. That's it. All right. That is for the first one. The first one we say user registration, right? That's the Epic, which is a high-level user story, so to speak. The second one gets into profile management. So my ask of us as a team, and normally we do teamwork here, get ready, folks, is for every, there are two things I'll make you do. You can choose any area, any Epic, right? And add one additional user story as a team. Let's take it again. Select any Epic. For example, this is Epic 1. This is first one, user registration, right? You can come here and say, under the user story, let me add another user story. I can decide to put a new user story. Then give me an acceptance criteria. You can come to profile management and say, well, let me find something else. Maybe you want to make them also include their text information for SMS. Feel free, add one user story and acceptance criteria on any of this whole thing. As a group, there are a lot of good stuff here for you. All I'm asking you is select one. You can see here. Okay, you know what? You can probably use the exercise I put here already. I said add a user story as a theme for voice broadcast, for example. Okay, yeah, use mine. Use this one in page 8. Add a user story with acceptance criteria. Let me add it with acceptance criteria. Okay, that will be easy actually. Use mine with acceptance criteria. So let me tell you the gist of this. This right now is saying for text messages, but I'm saying, can we be a bit creative and say also for voice broadcast, meaning it will automatically drop a voice message. So give me a user story with acceptance criteria for voice broadcast on page 6. Then you can also do me one favor. On page 9, do the same thing again, 8 and 9, okay? Just add an additional user story for 8 and 9, and that's it. Then the final one I would like us to do, so I've said 8 and 9 is come down here. I'm gonna remove the last 3. Let me remove this. I want you to add your sizing here. Give it a sizing number as a team. All right, so I've given you 3 assignments. First one, 2 user stories and acceptance criteria. The second one will be, I want you to size the user stories for your project real quick. Let's quickly do that. Please participate in it. Just fun stuff to learn. I'll delete the document I sent right now and replace it with this one so that you guys can use this one instead. Let me delete this. I'll delete what I sent to you earlier. Then I'll replace it with another one that has updated information. Please do me a favor. A lot of us will be, when I ask you to join a group, it's not a time to shy away. I want you to take ownership immediately, jump in. Anyone can share their screen and just talk through it. And there are 3 assignments. Be fast, straight to the point. First one, just as a team collectively, put user stories and your acceptance criteria. You can do one. I give 2, just do one as a team. If you can do both, fine. But the last assignment, I need you to do it, which is quickly size user stories. So select one out of those 2 to do, so that for the interest of time, then the second part of sizing user story, make sure you do that too. So you know what, let's keep it straight. Just do one the one that talks about voice broadcast is all I want you to do as a team. User story, acceptance criteria. Then the last one of sizing, so there are 2 assignments. Let's keep it at 2 so that we have enough time. All right, so I've sent that information. So let's quickly work as a team. Don't overthink it, ladies and gentlemen. Just let's see how many we are. So I'm going to quickly do 6 group and just have fun, folks. Not a big deal. Just make sure you think about it, look at what everybody's doing, and let's do that real quick. I'll bring you all back in the next 15 minutes, straight to the point, and I'll assign someone to just talk about it high level real quick. Okay, let's go. All right, thank you, everybody. I apologize. I know, um, for those of us that will be part of our main class, in a few weeks from next week, we'll get into more details. But let me show you something that really you'll be shocked and surprised. I know, this is not really the full-fledged program, but you'll be surprised that even with the little we've done, you'll be surprised that a lot of roles are out there that you can easily find yourself, being able to handle some of the things in terms of what is needed for those roles. Of course, you will learn a lot in the process. I'm not here to say, 1 2 hour class is what you need, but you'll be surprised. Most of the things in here are not strange language based on our conversation today alone. Vision roadmap, product vision, you know, user stories breaking down, acceptance criteria. This is a job they are paying over 100,000, but of course you've not gotten to all the details yet, but you've started talking about the same language. It's not going to be, I talk about business value, right? Product backlog, definition of done, what is done, in general. That's one job out there. Look at another job here. Of course, we put the work, we put the time. Today is just 2 hours. Of course, we need more time. The program is a 3-week Saturday and Wednesday intense program. So it's not going to be as quick as what we did today, for sure. Again, I've shared a lot of good stuff with us to give us some good insights, just to get us, in a very prepared state. Some key reason I think it's going to be important to do more work. EC, thank you for joining. EC was helping in group 5, room 5 also to support our team. In 3 weeks, we're going to gain hands-on skills, very, very detailed hands-on skill. We're going to work on learning some of the best practices out there. It's a smart idea to diversify your skill set now, in my opinion, just because right now, no matter how secure your job is, it's always smart to have option right now with the state of the unpredictability of the times. In the program, by the end of the program, you will learn how to use tools like Balsamic, Jira, Slack channel, Lucid Chat, AHA. Good opportunity to learn those tools too in the program. You acquire skill set that it's not me or anyone setting the salary. Most of those jobs are 6 digits really, and it's open information out there. We'll focus on scenario today, 2 hours. Yeah, we talked about healthcare. Believe it or not, that scenario you can talk about it in a real life project and convince someone to give you an opportunity for sure. So we have a lot of practicals there. We do interview preparation to get you very comfortable. We do a lot of resume building to make sure we put scenarios and the specific of what you did in an interview on your resume to make it appealing to potential employers. We use the STAR model, situation, task, action, result, to build a good resume for you also. We have a good community of folks that will support us, just like we are right now. We'll keep fine-tuning, and it's going to be myself, one of our great professional mentors, EC. She's also here. Thank you, EC. She'll be supporting me. Another one of our mentors, Olumide, will be supporting me on this in this class too as we progress. So within the community, we are really very strong together collectively also. So the next class is next week. We're going to kick off on the 29th, and feel free to be part of it, and just take advantage of the opportunity. A lot of you have asked me about the payment. Yeah, it's $500 for the program. The options are you can pay twice, you can pay 3 times, and if you think you've learned anything today, believe it, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's a lot to learn. I know some of my folks are cyber folks, and I've told them the story before. Agile principles are applicable in any environment. So it doesn't mean that, because I've just doing one thing, I'm not learning any other thing. Diversify your options, really. And some of you that know me, you'll be surprised other things that I've done before, because it makes sense to just give yourself a chance to be unfireable. Because if any opportunity closes, you have options. You're not worried really because of you're diverse. So be diverse in your skill set. I challenge you to do that also. and have fun doing it. So let me see if we have questions so far. Any question? Oh, somebody said how much is the program? It's $500 for the program. And believe it or not, I know a lot of people charge a lot, and that's fine. I respect people's business, but we have a mission, and we are focused on making sure we can get our communities to be empowered. And it's a business still, I get it, but we want to make sure we have the best professional in the world and put the work, the discipline. We're not here to BS you and say, oh, you do something tomorrow. No, no, no. Put the work, it's just 3 weeks. But that 3 weeks, make it an intense time to really enjoy the program. It's 3 weekends, that's all. 3 Saturdays and 3 Wednesdays. Saturdays and Wednesdays, Saturday 4. So 6 classes in total. And I think you will be in a solid shape to be a seasoned product owner. Like anything else, of course, with experience, you learn more. But honestly, I'm going to make you, whatever you saw in our use case today, we're going to have like 2 of those use cases. So when you're done with a program like that, talk about your use case in interview. That's all I'll tell you. Don't go outside of it. Those 3 use cases, go crazy on it. Financial, healthcare, and possibly retail. I'm still thinking whether retail or pharmaceutical, I'm not sure yet. But we'll do 3 solid use cases. Healthcare for sure, financial for sure, because they are big ones, and go crazy on it. Know it so well, make it your baby, and execute. That's it. Let me see. Any other question? Let's go. Please just type your question so that we can. Okay, somebody's a certification exam. Let me tell you what I think about certification. We are going to put certification on your resume with a bracket in view. We'll put CSPO in view. In view meaning you're working towards it, right? Just say in the next, and honestly, they are easy certification to pass. It's my focus. We only have one focus in our program, and that's JOB. Can we type it together, everybody? JOB. Those of us that know me, that's the only thing. I'm useless in other things. I'm not relevant, to be honest. You can Google stuff, go read yourself, do stuff, do you, man. My focus and the way I can be useful is job. Things that I know you can today start feeding the family, start empowering yourself. And I'm not of the illusion that automatically you just click. No. It's the beginning building block, and you start building your career there. That's it. And don't overthink it. The Indian community have been doing this. Our lovely Indian brothers, I love them, respect what they do. But we just want to mirror the same model and be successful. Challenge our folks, put the work, put the discipline. This is not one of those, magic things. Just put the work. My opinion, of course, cybersecurity is a bigger deal, in my opinion, just because of the need globally right now, right? So it's the regulation. People have no choice but to do cyber. However, if you ask my opinion, it's a combo skill that makes you more diverse and useful. So I would do both, definitely, because I have both skills, just because and it has personally helped my career. I'll give you one example, real life story. I was on my road changing one of my, paths, and it started with crisis. In the crisis, we are at the verge of losing close to $100 million within my firm. Believe it or not, I implemented my Agile knowledge to start tracking. Those of you in Agile will know what I mean. I was doing daily stand-up, and before I knew it, a day became a week became a month, 2 months, 3 months. By 4th month, we're out of the hole, and nobody could figure it out. Later, my leadership realized, oh, I told them, well, if you don't know, I was an Agile coach myself. So, oh, that's why. But the point is that I had tools I could draw my strength from in the midst of a crisis. Of course, also, if you didn't remember how to pray, you would pray then, right? But yeah, the skill sets are just complementary. That's the way I look at it. Just the key, if you're in tech, just keep learning, upskilling. People from Nigeria, text me one-on-one. It's the same fee, it doesn't matter. But if you are in Nigeria, just text me. We can talk about that personally. Any other thing? Let's see. Any other question before I dismiss? And let's keep the community alive. One of the strengths we have is community, folks. You're going to be part of a huge, good community of people that will support you in the long term. Not because I like you, but because I like myself enough to know, to be smart, that your success translates to my success. It's important. So it's not about, it's just important, somebody said, I do IT audit, what's the relationship? Now, if you do IT audit, you can go check yourself, you'll realize even there is auditing agile processes. So within agile also, people want to do a lot of audits. You'd be surprised there's audit around agile. So within agile, how the process is done, if they're building solutions, secure SDLC. So, it's a smart thing to have an idea of it because you understand the concept. When they give you work papers and documentation, you can understand, what it takes. Yeah, there's payment plan for the agile process. You can see my screen. So you can pay twice, you can pay once, you can pay 3 times also. Of course, if you pay multiple times, you have some extra fee. Somebody said, which group do I join to get this on WhatsApp? I sent the group already. If you don't have access to the group, I would let me just send one more time and I'll dismiss you. Please, Israel iPad, text me your question. We try to just do our questions with it. 2 more minutes, I'll be out of here. We don't go more than 5 minutes. 2 more minutes, we'll be out of here. Any other questions? For the times of the training, it's on Saturdays, 2 to 4:30. Saturdays, 2 to 4:30. Then on Wednesdays, 8 to 9:30 Central Time. Israel, please type your question. Thank you. Israel iPad, type your question. Chris Jumbo, type your question, please. Okay, WhatsApp link. Okay, let me send the WhatsApp link again, please. I'll send the WhatsApp link again so that we have access to it again. 1 second. And I apologize. A few of us that joined much later. Let me send that link again so we have access to it. Again, make sure you take advantage of the community people. Let me send that to us again. If you're on this call, I just send the WhatsApp link again. Please take a look at it. Wednesday, 8 p.m. US Central Time. 8 p.m. So let me type that again. Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. US Central. Then Wednesday, not 8 a.m. Most of us will be getting ready for our day's job. 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. US Central. And I'll send that information to the WhatsApp group. Please, if you're not what that WhatsApp group, I just sent it again. I'll tell you one thing, everybody, please, respectfully, I say this and I mean it. I don't care about certification personally. And 2 reasons I don't care. 1, I know more importantly, people want to result. So nobody cares about people that are leadership. I've been in leadership all along. So I don't care. None of my team, we don't care about it. It's results. Can you deliver really, honestly? Because it's IT, right? If it's nursing or healthcare, yeah, maybe you need all that. But for IT, it's result. I don't care. Second is I know people do it for each other. So why would I care? I don't care really. Can you do the job? You might have 20 certifications, which some of us have. A lot of people have all this. Oh, I have. And trust me, I do have all this nonsense too, really. But nobody, it's result, really. It's all about result. Can you deliver? And don't overthink this. This is not complex. If you bring a painter to your house to help you to paint your house, right? What do you expect? Do you paint? Do you care about those? How many certificates do you have to paint? No. You want to ask, tell me the places you've painted, show me a sample of your work you've painted. None of us will ask painter, give me a certification of you went to a school to paint. So why would someone else care about it? Let's be honest. It's not complex. They are like you and I, thinking like you and I. So why are you thinking different? They are just like everybody's like you and I. They want result. Business is result. It's all about result, nothing else. So it's execution result. So don't overthink it. Trust me on this one, folks. I know tech well. Don't waste your energy. It's a waste of your time. As a matter of fact, it's a liability. You start paying for renewal, CPEs, and all that. So focus on execution. Know the skill, know the knowledge. When you want to decide to be a manager or VP, then you can go get one. Because go check the profile of all the CEOs you have. Check on LinkedIn. Go check all the top CEOs. Most of them don't even have any of those. Maybe they have one. CPA, CISA, one of just one. It's people that want to struggle and kill themselves that will put 2010. You can't fool me. I will know. I can see through the BS most times. So people don't care. They will say, oh, well, you have all these things you listed, but can you deliver? That's it. Focus on deliverable execution. That's it. Execution. Recording I'll send out afterward. Well, you're going to be an agile product owner. That's it. That's what you are, product owner. Excellent. High school plus 19 years experience. Absolutely. Delivery is the key. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I look forward to being your mentor. Be part of the program. You'll learn so much. You build so much. The best investment of your professional life, possibly. And that's what we do here. We make it affordable, not because we don't know we can charge it so high, but we want to add value. We are mission driven. We want our community to build, like our Indian brothers have successfully done, and build our community collectively. That's the goal. So don't take it for granted. Don't think because it's affordable, you can mess with it. It's a gold mine. It's a live opportunity. Execute, learn, build, hold other people up. Let's lift our community up and make the best out of life. I wish you Godspeed. Enjoy the weekend. Talk soon, everybody. God bless. Bye. Chris, if you're on the call, I apologize. I think your question is Agile product owner any different from Agile Scrum Master? There are two different roles. Sometimes they overlap together. I've been a Scrum Master myself and a product owner together on different accounts. So a product owner, you work a lot with the business stakeholders. To me, to be very, very efficient, you know the world of both Scrum Master and product owner. Our world is similar, really, very similar world. So hope that answers the question. If not, text one-on-one. Thank you, everybody.